we read the Bible and listening to the sermon, we have a very special time today. Our brother Michael Jackson want to share his testimony with us. So can I invite him?
Good morning, all my dear friends of First Methodist Church. And I just wanted to share a little bit this morning. First, I must say it's been such a pleasure to be back to the church that got me started in my spiritual journey. I see some of my old friends from way back in the 60s and 70s, and I'm glad to see you all are doing really well, and this church is thriving. It's not always about numbers, it's about the quality. The quality and not necessarily the quantity. And I think most of you all are aware of the fact that I have come for an extended stay for very serious medical treatment, and I will begin on Monday the final phase of my treatment for leukemia. And I thought it was very important for me to share a little bit of my journey, which has been about miracle healing and a miraculous recovery from what is usually understood to be a life-threatening experience. So after many years of just vibrant health, no leukemia in our family, no indications that there might be something like this that would come along, I had a fall on a job site over the course of about 6 months in 2016. I was taking a lot of painkillers for that, and a few too many, and I decided, well, let me go on to my health provider and get a checkup. And through that miracle intervention, I was feeling fine otherwise. I had no symptoms whatsoever. I was diagnosed with leukemia, and I was, at that point, had to come up to my dear mother's home and begin the process of getting treatment. So this morning I wanted to talk about the miracle that's happened in my life, which is when I came up, again with not a lot of understanding of where this all was coming from and no warning in advance. I was told that this was a fairly advanced form. But through the grace of God, through the unfailing grace of God, in a time period that is really unheard of, I have made a remarkable recovery. Before I go on, I'd certainly want to commend also Reverend Park. I can appreciate her leadership, and I want to commend all of you all for your wonderful work here at First Methodist Church, keeping the flame of faith and grace alive here in this community. I was very struck last week by Reverend Park's message. It was very timely to me because she spoke of the grace that comes from challenge. And she spoke of the special gift that challenges can give us. And that it's a call from our ever-loving God to step up and to live in more faith and to live more fully and to believe more deeply. And when we talk about autism and other things that can happen this morning for individuals, we all have our path, we all have our challenges, we all have our valleys and our mountains, our hills. But through the grace of God, all things are possible. So thanks to two wonderful parents, my wonderful mother, and my dear, dear father, Edward Jackson, who made his transition a number of years ago, but faithful members of this church, a wonderful sister, a wonderful network of loving individuals and nurturing family. I developed the ability to live a fairly fearless life. So when I left here to go to college and beyond, I left with confidence. But I also left from my experience here at First Methodist a close walk with the divine, with an understanding of the unfailing love and power of Jesus the Christ, and of a God that is always, always, and in all ways there for us. So when I was diagnosed, I heard the diagnosis. I'm very, very proud. Probably the most proudest moments of my life is to say that I met this diagnosis with no fear. That I had not a moment of reflection and, oh, woe is me, and oh my God, what is this? That I met that moment fearlessly and with every bit of confidence that the power and the presence of God would bring me through. And though there have been moments on this journey, certainly in a less than 3 weeks' time, I went from 5'8", 5'9" to 5'4". I had some spinal curvature. My physical appearance changed. But through that, you have an invitation. I had an invitation. Do I go into self-pity? Do I go into fear? And at each one of those moments, I'm grateful to the spiritual foundation that I received here, that I was able to meet it fearlessly and to put that fear behind and to go forward with absolute confidence that God's grace is absolutely unfailing. So in closing, I just wanted to really just briefly, I will start in the coming week, a final process and a unheard of period of time. I have had a remarkable recovery. Most people with my diagnosis would be at a final step in September, and I'm here in March, April, at a final stage. So I am very grateful, and of course for all of your prayers, which have made every bit of difference in my recovery. So I'm grateful and look forward to this absolute full recovery. And as we have these words of cure or uncurable, we know that through the grace of God, all things can be cured. Because we don't have the names to put to the miracle of recovery, of life that continues. So I just want to share in closing a text that I think is so important from Matthew. It's from Matthew 20. I got to put on my little eyes here. Let's see if I have them with me. I don't, but I think I can read them anyway. For truly I say to you, if you have faith as a grain of mustard seed, you will say to this mountain, move hence to yonder place, and it will move, and nothing will be impossible to you. And I'm sure, Reverend Park, you have relied on that passage, both here and in your many steps of your work. But I think it's so powerful for us to know that this faith, the size of a mustard seed, can give us the ability to overcome all things. And I want to just reiterate Reverend Park's message and the message that we have in our heart, that each and every one of us has a special and a divine path for our lives, no matter what our age, whether we're 10 or going on 90 or beyond. At every single stage, we have a divine, unique, one-of-a-kind. There's no path that is like yours. Yours is unique, and it's unique to you, and it is a gift from God. And so I invite you to join me in confidently moving forward, in pursuing that path for ourselves, that divine deliverance, that divine gift that is very, very special to each and every one of us. And I invite you to do it with all the confidence and fearlessness in your heart. And I join you all as we move forward as a church family. I may, at some point in the fairly near future, move back down to my primary home in the U.S. Virgin Islands, where I've been graced with a beautiful life and family and wonderful experience there. But we will be united in spirit as we move forward in our fearless life together. And so thank you very much.